80 meters underwater, off the coast of a small Greek island nobody cared about. A sponge diver drops into the dark. His job: find sponges, come back up. What he finds instead will take 100 years to understand, and when scientists finally crack it open with modern CT scanners, they'll go quiet in a way that papers don't quite capture. A shipwreck. Roman era. Marble statues, bronze figures, amphorae stacked in the hull. Standard ancient treasure, more or less. Except for one thing. A lump of corroded bronze, roughly the size of a show box, encrusted with sea growth, sitting unnoticed among the gold and marble for months. Then it cracked open. Inside, gears. Dozens of precisely interlocking bronze gears. Inscriptions. Dials. Differential mechanisms that mechanical engineers in the 20th century would stare at with something close to disbelief. An object that, by every model of ancient history we've been taught, should not exist. This is the Antikythera Mechanism. Recovered from the Aegean Sea in 1901. Dated, based on the coins and pottery found alongside it in the wreck, to somewhere around 60 to 70 BCE. The mechanism itself, based on its astronomical parameters and inscriptions, was likely built between 150 and 100 BCE. Some researchers argue earlier. It is the world's oldest known analog computer. That phrase still sounds slightly absurd. Ancient Greece. Analog computer. But here's what that actually means, and why it matters. The technology embedded in this device, the specific gear trains, the differential mechanisms, the mathematical encoding, did not reappear in the documented historical record for over 1,000 years. A millennium. Gone. And then the mechanical clocks of 14th century Europe started showing up, with comparable complexity, and no one can draw a clean line between them and this. That gap is the buried story. And nobody has satisfactorily explained it. The island of Antikythera sits in a narrow channel between Crete and the Greek mainland. Windy. Remote. The kind of place ships pass through on their way somewhere else. In 1900, a crew of sponge divers from Simi took shelter there during a storm. When the weather broke, a diver named Elias Stadiatis went down to scout. He surfaced shaking, reported bodies on the seafloor. Men and horses, turned to stone. Statues. The wreck of a large Roman cargo ship, sunk roughly 2,000 years earlier. The Greek government organized a salvage effort. Divers brought up marble figures, bronze sculptures, glassware, jewelry. A staggering haul. Among it, 3 corroded, barnacled fragments of bronze. Unremarkable. Logged and shelved at the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. For about a year, nobody looked closely. Then, in 1902, a Greek archaeologist named Valeos Staris noticed something inside the largest fragment. Gears. He suggested it might be an astronomical clock of some kind. The archaeological establishment, largely, dismissed him. Too complex, they said. Must be medieval, dropped into the wreck site later. Ancient Greeks couldn't have built this. That dismissal would become one of the more embarrassing moments in the history of science. It took another 50 years before anyone seriously returned to the object. And what they found when they did, what the X-ray showed, was the kind of thing that forces you to rewrite a chapter. British physicist Derek de Solla Price. 1950s and 1970s. He was the first researcher to systematically X-ray the fragments and publish a serious analysis. What he found, at least 30 interlocking bronze gears. Possibly more, later work using high-resolution CT scanning, carried out by the Antikythera Mechanism research project beginning in 2005, identified evidence for 37 gears. Pin and slot mechanisms. A differential gear train, a system for computing the difference between two rotating inputs, that wasn't documented in any other ancient device. Price's conclusion, published in 1974, was careful but stunning. He wrote that the mechanism's complexity implied a level of technical sophistication, quoting closely here, quite unknown for its period. That's the polished academic version. Here's the unpolished version. This device contains engineering solutions that we don't see again in any surviving artifact until medieval European clockmakers, working more than 1,000 years later, started building cathedral clocks. And there is no known, documented technological lineage connecting the two. Whatever knowledge produced the Antikythera mechanism, whatever workshop tradition, whatever accumulated craft, it left almost no trace in the historical record. But the object is real. It's in Athens right now. Behind glass. In fragments. And the gears are still there. Here's what the CT analysis, the deep reading done by teams from Cardiff University, Athens, and later University College London, tells us this device was actually designed to compute. And this is where the scope of it becomes genuinely difficult to absorb. 1. The Metonic cycle. The 19-year period over which the lunar and solar calendars realign. The back face of the mechanism had a spiral dial tracking 235 lunar months, the exact number that makes up 19 solar years. 2. Eclipse prediction. The Saros cycle, a 223-month pattern after which eclipses repeat in the same sequence. Identifying this cycle requires centuries of careful astronomical observation and recording. It's encoded in the mechanism's gear ratios. 3. The Callippic cycle. A 76-year refinement of the Metonic, for greater accuracy. Also present. 4. A dial tracking the 4-year cycle of the Pan-Hellenic Games, including the Olympics. 5. The positions of the Sun and Moon against the zodiac, continuously updated as you turn the hand crank on the side. And 5 is where it gets contested. A 2021 paper from UCL, published in Scientific Reports, proposed that the front face also displayed the positions of all 5 planets known to antiquity: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. If that reconstruction is correct, this device modeled the entire visible solar system as understood in ancient Greece. That analysis is still debated. Not everyone in the field accepts the full planetary reconstruction. But no credible researcher disputes the core. This was a mechanical computer for tracking time and the heavens, of a sophistication that has no surviving parallel in the ancient world. You turned a crank. The heavens moved. 2,000 years ago. This is the anomaly the mainstream account struggles hardest with. It's not that ancient Greeks were unsophisticated, that argument collapsed long before the Antikythera mechanism. We know they were brilliant. Archimedes, who lived roughly a century before this device was made, described mechanical systems of real complexity. The Roman writer Cicero mentions a device, supposedly made by Archimedes, that showed the movement of the sun, moon, and planets. Ancient sources reference things like this in passing, as if they weren't entirely shocking. But the Antikythera mechanism is, archaeologically, alone. Not one comparable device has been found from antiquity. Not a fragment. Not a partial gear train. Nothing. The standard response to this is survivorship bias, and it's a fair point. Bronze was valuable raw material. It got melted and reused. Most ancient objects don't survive. Maybe dozens of devices like this existed and were eventually broken down for the metal. That argument might be correct. I'm not dismissing it. But here's what makes it harder to fully settle for: we have texts. Extensive ancient texts. Roman writers. Greek philosophers. Later commentators. If geared astronomical computers were a known tradition, if workshops in Alexandria or Rhodes were regularly producing devices of this complexity, you'd expect some detailed description. A treatise on their construction. A clear reference. What we get instead are hints. Vague mentions. Cicero's offhand remark. Nothing that says, here is how this class of device is built, and here is who makes them. The knowledge, if it existed as a tradition, left almost no paper trail. And then it stopped. Let's be precise about where the serious debate actually sits, because this is a topic where the internet version and the scholarly version diverge pretty dramatically. The mainstream position, held by most historians of science and classical archaeologists, goes like this: the Antikythera Mechanism represents the peak achievement of a small, specialized craft tradition, probably centered on Rhodes, where ancient sources place sophisticated astronomical work. When Hellenistic civilization fragmented under Roman expansion, that tradition collapsed. The knowledge wasn't suppressed or hidden. It was simply lost, the way most ancient technical knowledge was lost, not through conspiracy, but through the ordinary catastrophe of civilization's ending. That's the consensus. And it's genuinely plausible. We know this happens. The alternative view, which appears more in popular books than peer-reviewed journals, though it has some scholarly backing, argues that we've been systematically underestimating the technological depth of the ancient world. That the Antikythera Mechanism isn't a bizarre outlier, it's a window into a tradition we haven't found yet. That the gap in a record isn't absence of technology, it's absence of survival. Some go further, tracing the astronomical knowledge embedded in the mechanism back through Greek sources to Babylonian astronomy, a thread that's historically documented and real, even if its full implications are debated. What serious researchers do not argue, despite what certain corners of the internet will tell you, is that this device is extraterrestrial, or the product of a lost supercivilization. The Antikythera Mechanism is recognizably, specifically Greek. Its inscriptions are in Greek. Its calendar parameters match Greek and Babylonian observational data. Its zodiac notation reflects Greek astronomical conventions. Whatever the mystery is, and there is a genuine mystery here, it is a human mystery. Somehow, that's harder to explain away. Here's where I keep landing when I think about this. We have a physical object. Datable. Studied by some of the best scientists alive, using imaging technology that would have been incomprehensible to the people who built it. And we still don't fully know where it came from, whether similar devices existed, or why the tradition, if it was a tradition, left almost no trace. The ship that carried it sank sometime in the 1st century BCE. We don't know where it was going. We don't know who owned the mechanism, whether it was a luxury curiosity being shipped to a Roman nobleman's villa, a working tool for a practicing astronomer, or something else entirely. We don't know if there were others like it. That's the thing that stays with me. There might have been dozens. There might have been workshops producing them for generations. And we would never know, because bronze melts, wood rots, and the sea keeps its secrets for thousands of years before surrendering them to a storm and a group of sponge divers who needed to wait out the weather. This one survived by accident. By the specific accident of a ship hitting the seafloor in cold, deep, oxygen-limited water near an island nobody was diving around. And now it sits in Athens. Behind glass. Mostly decoded, but not fully. Still giving up new information every time someone looks at it with better tools. So here's the question I want to leave you with, and I mean this as an actual question, not a rhetorical one. If this single object can overturn a century of assumptions about what ancient people were capable of building, what else is sitting on the seafloor right now? What's buried under the sand in sites we haven't excavated? What's in storage rooms in museums, logged as corroded bronze fragment, waiting for someone to look twice? The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't found by an archaeologist. It was found by a man looking for sponges. Think about that. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think this changes, and what do you think is still out there? And if this object shook something loose in how you think about the ancient world, the next video will finish the job. What was found beneath the oldest known temple on Earth, deliberately buried before history was supposed to begin? That's on screen right now.